Hey everybody, Ryan here from Android Coliseum, here to give you my review today on the Huawei Watch GT3 Pro. This, I gotta admit, I liked it a lot. It looks like it had a lot of potential in terms of the fact that it looks very stylish. It's not very big. It has a speaker. I actually been really liked the this little crown rotate thing was absolutely smashing idea. Um, Great, no proprietary plugs. It just uses like a mini QI charger or whatever magnetic charger for that. So a lot of neat positives going for it. And it's 271, so even under 300 bucks, so cheaper than the Tick watch that I've been using. So I really got excited about this. And then I used that, unfortunately. But we'll get into that. So as you've seen in the unboxing video, basically we get a nice little charging thing on here, which just plugs into any USB, and then it holds it in place with a magnet and charges itself up. That, I think, has to be, everything that you do in any watch from now on. Getting these proprietary plugs is absolutely pain. Getting something like that should be standard. When we look at the watch itself, I like the metal feature to it. It does give it a stylish look that I'm not quite used to in terms of these models that I've been using that are more sporty, more rough and tumble. That being said, this still does have some really high-end protection, IP68 for sure. I don't know if it has the military spec on it like the others do, but yeah. So at first, I was really excited to use this. I mean, like I said, the band is really nice. We've got enough band to go on my wrist and have enough of it to go around and still have a good amount. If you notice, this is free to go. The other one has a tiny little latch in there which kind of fits into one of these little spots and then holds itself in place so that it's not slipping around. I thought that was a neat little feature. Little things are very cool. Other cool thing, you know that this is a Huawei. It's got Huawei written on there, and it's got Huawei written on there, so you know that this is a Huawei watch. Okay, so because it's Huawei, unfortunately, it doesn't work with Google. I got really excited because I fired up Wear OS, and it started to say I would actually pair to this, but then it didn't go through the process. Crap. So I have to use, because it has that whole thing with Google, it can't use Android. So therefore, it's using a version of it called Harmony OS, they call. And in order to get this to pair, you have to get the Huawei Health App. But you can't use the Huawei Health App from the Play Store because that doesn't have the new watch in it. If it did, that might have been a big time saver. So instead, I had to go and download the Huawei App Gallery. Download the Huawei App Gallery APK to install it, install that. Then immediately have to install the HMS core to get things to work. And then once you have the HMS core installed, then you can install the Huawei Health app, and then you can go through the Pro. It was an absolute headache, and I can imagine anybody who's a normal Android user would just say, forget it, not worth it. Essentially installing 3 apps to get one, and then one of them I have to get from a other source. That could be a major deal breaker. So what I ended up having to do, because it was just such a big pain for my Pixel to go through, is I installed it on, I luckily have an old P30 here, has all that kind of ready to go. So I was able to get the Huawei Health app running, installed it, and then added the device to it. Pretty straightforward. If you got a Huawei, makes sense. Unfortunately, the NFC for Huawei, I don't know if it actually has in there because it tells me that the wallet can't be used here in our area. And there are certain things that it actually can't upload and save. So it's kind of a bit of a pain, but we'll get to that bit of well. Otherwise, let's talk about what the actual watch is. Very similar to Wear OS. Come on. Turn on. You swipe over here, and we have sort of our add a moment notifications. We actually have a song on here we can play. That's pretty cool that it actually has that. speakers in there, so we can actually play music. That's something that the Tick Watch was really missing. We can swipe over here and see some of our tile cards that if we want to look at things that have gone on. So just like where we can have special tiles, they're just kind of preset. There is a way to change them, but we'll leave it for there. And then we swipe up from the bottom to get into our notifications. And here's where the big, huge change is. For some reason, under messages, that's a Pokemon Go, I think, under messages. And there's my patio doorbell saw people. So, and then the biggest pain, for some reason, Google Keep, I have a bunch of memory things reminding me for Google Keep all at the same time. So it really got annoying that those things doubled up and tripled up, quadrupled up for some reason. The other thing is that, to get rid of it, you don't swipe that way. You swipe this way and then hit the trash. The other thing that bugged me about the notifications is like, oh, great, my Ontario Parks reservation, let's tap it. What about the details? I can't see the details. I can't reply to it. I can't do whatever to it. And then these actually are those were notifications that they've already gotten rid of them. So it's not really syncing the notifications like it should. That's kind of a pain in the butt. But it's okay. Let's get on. Again, I really love this crown. Now, you can change the setting of that. I want to show this because this was something that really, really bugged me. So home is going to be a grid. So anybody who's ever used the Apple Watches knows how they kind of have that grid. This tried to do the same thing. Like, oh, that's pretty cool adaptation of it. Is it going to be? No, it's really just an image. You just kind of move around. I thought it was a poor sort of try. And we can zoom in or out with the crown all you want. So that is different. Cool, I guess you want to call it that. Now, there are a ton of Huawei specific apps like the sleeping app. So there's my sleep from last night. I wore it to bed. Let's take a look at, let's see what else we got here. So activities, I took it for a bike today. I can see that stuff. Whoops. To join this. Oh, we already did the temperature thing. We don't need to see that again. Well, let's see. Where was the activities? This one? Workout. There we go. So I can see the workout. And actually, workout recorded very accurately compared to Google Fit. It gives me a lot of details. Speeds, which were really good. Altitude changes, my heart rate through it. So a lot more detail than I would get out of Google Fit, but do I really need it or not? But again, just kind of cool that it has all this in there. Oh, and that was kind of neat. Actually, once I finished, it said, do you want to do recovery and measure recovery time? So I'm not sure what that means, but yeah. So there we go. So there's some other things to play around with. What else can we play around with here to show you that I did kind of enjoy? But the biggest pain in the butt is that none of this works with Google Fit. None of this. I can't get anything with Google on it. So some of the stuff that I would normally want to get, I'd have to get through the Huawei app gallery or whatever. So that is kind of a big make or break for me. Let's take a look at what else we can play around with that I kind of like. You can change the screens just like you would in Android Wear and you have a lot of different kinds of screens you can play with, and some of them look very classy. I mean, this does look a very classy sort of, there's a golfer one, Okay, cool. You even had one here with where was the lunar feature, right? So you can see what was the moon phase for today. So neat stuff. And then the button, again, doesn't look like a crown button like the other one, but you can hit it and it brings you to, okay, let's start an activity. So again, 90% of the time, any button I'm pressing on my watch is to start an activity. So that's kind of neat that it has that built in there. And then let's look at the companion app that it has. So again, if I go to devices, I can see the Huawei app. I can see what it's measured, health monitoring, all that kind of stuff to enable continuous heart rate monitoring. So it does all of that. Again, like most of these things, you have to go into and say, what apps do I want to have notifications for? So I have to go into notifications and say what I'm connected to. The downside is because the way it is set up is that it always now is going to say that it's connected by Bluetooth up the very top there. So I don't know if that has an option where I can turn that off for voice calls like I did in the TicWatch, because I think that's probably going to be burning up a lot of extra battery power, whether on my device or that. That being said, I mean, it's been a little over a day and the battery went from 65 to 54. So that's only 12%, 11% in 24 hours. That's pretty darn good battery. So yeah, I like the look and the feel and the way that this is meant to be built and used. Unfortunately, it's just implemented very poorly with the fact that it's hampered by a lot of the things that it can't do because it's not able to use Google. So they had to build their own, and it just doesn't quite come close as a user experience. So I'm sorry, great buy at that price, but until Huawei and Google can work their stuff out, I just can't recommend it because it's still so much far away from what Wear would want to be in order to compete properly. That, I mean, if you have a Huawei, then go ahead and use it. But to install 3 apps just to get this to work, and then if you want anything else besides what's built in, yeah, you're kind of schnookered. So you make your decision. If you have Huawei, great. If not, I might want to suggest something else. Right, that's my review. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me at any time, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.